Welcome to the Flower Prophecies, a podcast exploring all things flower essences and remedies and flower therapy, and how this vibrational plant medicine has the potential to heal and shift our individual and collective health and consciousness. We'll be diving deep into the specifics of individual essences, nature's energetics, emotional healing and growth, as well as hearing client case studies, hosting special guests and professionals, and I'll be sharing my own personal explorations and philosophies channeled straight from the flowers. Through my own unearthing, I have discovered what I believe to be the most profound teaching of the flowers, and I now wish to share with you the practice of alchemizing fear into beauty. Hello and welcome back to the Flower Prophecies. This is the first solo episode for this season since I've returned from my little break, and it's the first Essence in Focus episode for quite a while, I think. I think it's been since like the start of the year since I did an Essence in Focus episode. And if you haven't listened to one of these episodes before, it is where I share my personal experience of working with a particular remedy or essence. And throughout this episode and my previous Essence and Focus episodes, I really kind of break it down into all of the different experiences, happenings, synchronicities, learnings, all that I traverse throughout, taking a particular essence. And I do know that sometimes, because I am specifically sharing about all of the different aspects and curiosities that I come by throughout these essence journeys, it can probably sound like I'm getting a bit too involved in the unfoldment of what is happening within these essences. But for me personally, I absolutely love the experience of getting curious with this and watching it all unfold and really navigating it and understanding it. That is just something that I really enjoy and thrive on. It's something that I enjoy. But in saying that, it also, because I'm sort of running through it through an episode, it can sound like it's a bit unhealthy almost, I would say. And so I do want to mention that these are just the happenings that I am speaking about in relation to the essence and what it's bringing up for me. So there is a lot of other stuff that there's a lot more time and space in between all of that I'm sharing when it's unfolding. There's a lot more time and space that is happening throughout it. It's not just this constant picking apart of my own experience and my own life and emotion. So I just thought I would share that so it doesn't kind of come off as when we work with these essences that we need to be digging deep every moment and second of our life, because that's not what I'm here to share, but it's more so just this offering of all the different ways that these essences can impact our lives, all of the different ways that they can bring in learnings and bring in offerings and bring in different experiences and emotion for us, and release emotion, release resistance, release what's not serving us. I just love bringing attention and awareness to how it is that these can impact us, so that when you may be journeying with them yourself, it can, you can be a bit more aware of what they may be bringing up for you. So I thought I would just preface this episode with that little piece of information. Take it or leave it. But today we are exploring Christmas Bell. So Christmas Bell is one of the Australian bushflower essences, and we are exploring expanding creativity, releasing self-imposed limitations and blind spots, and aligning with our soul desires. And I thought it would be really interesting to share with you a post that I did about the Christmas Bell essence 2 years ago. And this was, I hadn't actually taken the Christmas Bell when at the time of this post, but I had connected with it. And this post was a little synopsis of the energy that I received from the Christmas Bell essence. And I thought it would be really interesting to share this and then share what unfolded within my journey with the essence. Just as a little bit of a, I guess, comparison or whatever you'd like to call it. So Christmas Bell, Blandfordia nobilis. Not sure if that's pronounced correctly. So Christmas Bell is an ode to our truest desires and that which we hold close to our hearts. While its foremost properties speak to manifesting abundance and desired outcomes, this comes not without proper appreciation and reverence for what it is that we desire. It reinstates the message of seeing through the materialism and consumerism of not only this season, but in all of life. It begs those questions our mothers ask. Is this something you need or something you want? And if you get this, will you take care of it? It forgoes lack mindset by gifting us an appreciation for the natural world and universal abundance within each moment, whether it be the colors in the sunrise or the family around our table. It allows us to take responsibility for that which we hold on to, and in doing so enables us to experience and receive more of what brings us true joy and happiness. So that was my little synopsis of the Christmas Bell when I was first working with it, or not personally working with it, but in my repertoire for clients. And I just truly love how our energy and our unconscious work with the flower essences before we even begin to take them. It's funny because I had always perceived Christmas Bell as a little bit surface level. And maybe, I guess that was my own projection or perception of wanting, and my own, I guess, fears and belief systems of wanting to call in abundance and I guess manifest in life in a more tangible way. So I saw the Christmas Bell as a little bit surface level, which obviously is quite ridiculous because I know that no flower essences are really surface level. They all work so incredibly deeply for us. And in retrospect, I can see how this was actually me resisting the medicine that was for me and for my highest good, which is something that we do a lot and something that the Christmas Bell showed me very clearly, because it has been one of the most, I would say, profound transformations and experiences of working with a flower essence. So I spent 6 weeks working intimately with the Christmas Bell as a single remedy, a single essence, and it was such a powerful remedy for me that I really felt peeled back the layers that I was so blind to, the ways that had become completely intrinsic into my being, yet they did not belong to me at all. So it began actually with this huge emphasis on money and resources, which is the reason that I had felt it was surface level, my own resistance, obviously. So I came to an instant confrontation with the way that I had been viewing money and the way I had been making money, and also the limitations I had set on receiving abundance in all forms, not just money. And I was quite quickly offered a lot of synchronistic conversations that shed light around this and really opened my eyes to where I had been sort of blocking this. A lot about sort of, just getting by isn't helping the collective. So I think as healers, or even just anyone supporting and helping anyone else, and adding value to the world, it can be this kind of push and pull, like resistance against wanting to help others and not seeing how you can, I guess, take money for that, take resources for that. And I'm sure many of you have experienced that sort of that sort of thought process and feeling. So a lot of big themes also came up around superseding my parents in my healing business, which was really, really interesting. And through conversation with my mum, I realized that I'd been holding on to this fear of not wanting to surpass my parents, both in a monetary sense and I guess in the expansion of my healing business and offerings. So this is because both of my parents are amazing healers in a wide variety of fields and realms, and it's been a lot of their lives' work. And I had this big realization that I was unconsciously worried of taking that away from them, whether they would feel less than if I was to reach a certain level of, I guess, what you would define as success. So yeah, this realization in itself was big and was something that I was able to release a lot of just with this awareness around it, and through conversation with my parents and their acknowledgements that they, want me to succeed as much as I can, and they have no thoughts around that. And which I'm very blessed to have such amazing supportive parents like that can offer me that acknowledgement. And so that was really really beautiful and healing to hear and experience as well. Throughout the start of this remedy, I had a lot of I started sleeping really deeply, which was like indicating to me that a lot was shifting and moving and healing. There was a lot of transformation happening. So I was having these really deep sleeps, which, again, if you're taking essences and you experience this can be, sign that you are processing a lot, and you're processing a lot in your sleep and in your unconscious state that needs to move and can't do so when we're in this conscious state. And then, at this time I had a lot of abundance start coming my way, and I was very aware of receiving it openly. And I was noticing the pure abundance in each and every day that I was experiencing, and the pure beauty of nature and of life and all it had to offer, and a real appreciation of it, and also the ability to receive it for what it was. And it presented to me, I guess, this kind of love and money connection. So there was this other big realization that came to me through this, of how I have had a fear of losing others or doing something to hurt friends or people in my life that will cause them to leave me. And I witnessed how, because of this fear, I'd actually been restricting my love for others, whether it was family or friends. And I'd not been openly giving it or receiving it. And this had set into place, I guess, follow on of beliefs, of the potential of having something that I could lose before even acquiring it. So in feeling this way, I was actually blocking myself from even trying before I could receive something or before I could achieve something. So I had this like real anticipation of this losing in the future and keeping myself stuck because of it, because I was closed off to it completely. And so ultimately I had like this big realization as well that I've not been envisioning my future out of inspiration, but envisioning it out of fear. Fear for what I could lose. And like obviously nothing's gonna flow when we're when we're visioning out of what we may lose, what is lacking, what is potentially lacking, or what is going to slip away from us. Nothing is going to flow from that space, right? So it was like this kind of big realization on how I had closed myself off to receiving love, and then through this close myself off to receiving abundance in any way. So this was really big for me, this kind of connection that I'd put together. So I then had a what I would say is a pretty life-changing experience, and I think I shared a little bit about it on my Instagram back when it happened. And probably from an outward perception, it may not seem quite that big or quite such a big deal. But being within the experience, it was a really revelatory space for me to sit in. And it just felt like a huge expander of my awareness. Like I almost opened up this whole other aspect of myself that I had been unconscious to, right? Which is what the flower essences do. But I hadn't quite experienced this in such a big jump, right? The flower essences open us up to seeing and viewing unconscious aspects of ourselves and unconscious beliefs that we hold. And they do so in like these incremental ways. But this felt like this, like almost like dimension jumping like space that I expanded through and opened up to. So it was a really pivotal moment in which I had an opportunity for really deep growth presented to me and offered to me. And the fear of the unknown, so the fear of the unfamiliar territory, was trying to keep me limited and resisting stepping into it, into growth and into evolution. And this presented through some very loud and visceral feelings that I was experiencing, and it was pretty overwhelming in the moment. But I took myself for a walk out into nature, which is what I always do when I'm just, need to clear my head or really need to ground back down into what is actually unfolding. And I sat with this in deep curiosity and introspection with myself, and I realized through this how an identity that I had forever and one that I had loved and really valued in myself was also in a few ways keeping me limited. Because this way of being, this identity that I associated myself with, or that I saw myself as, which is joyful and lighthearted, is something that I do really love and really value in myself. And I was actually blind to how it was also this unconscious mechanism that was allowing me to play it safe, stay small in the unknown. So I would like use this lightheartedness to resist becoming serious on those situations and experiences that called for me to add more of me to them, to give over more of me to them, to just deepen my experience and allow myself to forge a, 'cause more expanded path for myself. I would use these joyous and lighthearted aspects of myself to kind of take the focus away from that, I would say, and kind of shift myself out of those experiences. So it was really, I was using it to play it safe and stay small in the unknown, right? And I was very unaware of this. And when I had this realization, which actually was accessed through openly giving and receiving love to someone I trusted, someone who had realized could see me better than I could see myself, I was able to take that leap into the unknown. And it wasn't without like complete terror, right? At first, that experience I went through brought up so much fear in me. But when I had this realization, and I actually decided that I was going to commit to it, it felt so bloody good. Like there was this brand new threshold that I crossed. It was powerful and it was potent. And interestingly, I even began my bleed that following day when I actually put myself into that experience without resisting. So it was just this huge shedding of an old and outdated identity that it was limiting and I was holding on to. And even reflecting on this allowed me to embody these parts of myself, the lightheartedness and the joy that I valued even more so, because I realized like when they were truly there for me and when they were just kind of like this facade, I would say. Maybe not a facade, but when they were playing into situations where they weren't that aligned with or that required. So once I accessed this threshold, I would say it felt really exciting for me. Like there was so much potential that lay ahead that I might not know of, right? Because it's the unknown. I had feared the unknown, but it allowed me to see it in this new way, in this new light of like, well, the unknown holds limitless potential for me. And so it became really exciting, and I became very optimistic about it. And I began to take some big steps in both my business and in myself. And it felt really aligned and empowering for me. And, you know, I just want to mention that, you know, I was speaking about this with a client this morning, you know, when we're in this process of remembering ourselves, remembering our essence, which maybe we've never completely experienced before in our lives, but it's like this deepened remembering of our essence. When we're like slowly unfolding and moving into that and gently dipping our toes into that, it might present with fear, yes, but ultimately it's going to feel familiar to us when we allow ourselves to move past that fear. And it's going to feel good. It's going to feel like, oh yeah, I forgot about this person that's been here all along. And it's going to flow effortlessly and not, it's going to feel good. And this is what I was experiencing. It was feeling aligned and feeling like empowering to me. And so I could trust that I was on the right path. You know, once I moved through that initial fear and terror, I was like on the right path and I could feel that. So after this, I received like a whole lot of clarity with the direction that I was wanting to go in, and that was aligned for me, and that I wanted to pursue and create next with myself, my personal life and my business life as well. And this also opened up like a shift in the energy of how I was going to achieve my future vision. Instead of acting from this fear and rushing through trying to achieve it out of this vision of fear, because what if it's taken away from me, pulled out from underneath me, I gave myself time and I gave myself space to be present, to focus and ground into what I was doing at one time. And what this delivered me was clear vision and inspiration of what I had desired in both business, purpose, and in my life. And the more I sat with this energy and moving from this present and grounded, embodied state, from this place, the more abundant and at peace I began to feel. And it's that same feeling of just feeling in alignment with your essence, right? With your soul's path. And then, you know, over the next little while, there was a few moments that I initially that came up and presented to me that I initially felt disheartened in. And I realized that if I was to move from the old energy I had been forever before functioning from, I would have been stuck in this and acted on something out of fear. Yet through this new awakening, this new awareness, I was able to instead see these as clear directors and redirections and more clarity of what was next for me. And it enabled me to see my potential even further. The more I sat in this, the more expanded I felt. And yeah, so it's just like this whole notion of like the less we can contract and resist, the more expanded we become. It's like it's that saying, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway, because it actually opens us up to this expansive world that's waiting for us. So the following week after that, I just wanted to again reiterate, this is all unfolding over quite a long time. So I'm not depicting my second by second life. Yeah. So the following week I had my 33rd birthday, and I had a powerful moment with myself and a message come through on my birthday morning of living life from freedom rather than from fear. And I felt like this was this huge turning point for me. This navigating a life of fear had played into my experience for as long as I could remember, and shifting these huge blind spots for myself felt like a new chapter, because as much as I have had, you know, really released and alchemized a lot of my fears in the past, like these were some very unconscious ones that I didn't even know, you know, if I'm honest, I had confused this fear that I was feeling, because it was so unconscious to me. I confused this fear with trusting my gut instinct. And, you know, I know that we can do that a lot, right? But I'm also a very tapped into my intuition sort of person. But it was just this, level, this depth of these beliefs and this identity that I had given myself, that I had experienced these feelings for so long, these fears for so long, that I had confused them with my own inner compass. And when I reflect on it now, I can see clearly the difference. I can see clearly how different they were in comparison to what I know my intuition to be. But it was this, the mind that had identified them with that got me so caught up in them. So it was just such a huge shift in awareness for me. So I then I had finished the remedy, and I took a week or so to integrate everything that had been moving through, because it was huge. But then I got the call that the Christmas bell had more work for me, had more for me to move and shift and shake. So I hopped back on the bandwagon and started the Christmas bell remedy again. And if I look at it now, it's kind of like the first aspect of that, of the first month of that remedy was like all of these huge awakenings and releasings and sheddings. And then going back onto the remedy for a second month was like embodying like all that had been keeping me from. And so it's like a really exciting sort of beautiful aspect to it. So I had like this really deep experience of reconnecting with my intrinsic creativity, which creativity has been this theme throughout my work with the flowers for basically the whole time I've been working with them. Yeah, it's been this really big theme with what the work that I do with these remedies, but I didn't realize I'd been really disconnected from my own creativity. So I was feeling all of this excitement to create that I'd not felt in so many years, that I'd actually disconnected from in some way when I disconnected from an old identity that was connected with my old creative business, right? So stepping back into this energy of this felt like I was returning to myself, and it felt really, really good. And so this brought me a level of, I guess, commitment to myself and to my path and my creativity, and to stop acting for others, instead put my own energy into myself, and in turn this would help others, right? So over the next little while I was taking it, I had some experiences in which I realized that this worry of acting for others played into many areas of my life in these really like insidious, nuanced kind of ways. And I began to notice like how so many of my daily movements and decisions I was making out of worry over my own confidence. And when I got really curious about this, I used a process to refine what was coming up through this. And I realized that the reason I acted out of this place was a fear of feeling a specific emotion, and that emotion was guilt. So I was worried that if my actions, if anything that I did, if any of my own actions affected another in some way, that I would have to experience this feeling of guilt, right? And in my practice and in my philosophy with the flowers that I've kind of unearthed through working with them, I was able to work this back to the feminine's core wound. And this is the wound for the fear of her safety and security, right? And this is where we see guilt play out. And I realized that I felt like if I was to be all of me truly, that I was actually unsafe. That when I had awareness of this, I was able to instead offer myself protection, and in knowing that I would never intentionally hurt another. And so I was able to find a peace and a sense of trust in knowing that if I acted authentically from who I was, rather than for someone else out of worry of hurting them, out of fear, I was going to be okay, because I would never intentionally hurt someone. I would never intentionally do something to cause another person harm or, distress or pain or suffering, right? And so this just led me to this complete and utter opening of my truest nature, and a realization that my audience, you guys, my clientele, are all innately creatives as well. And that not only is that is who I am, but that is why I've had my own experience through all of these creative endeavors and traversing the world of creativity, and why the flowers are offering me these kind of teachings and wisdoms around creativity, the process of creativity, the forces of nature and how they play into creativity, because nature is creation, right? We are creation. Everything is creation and creativity. But it was just like, as soon as I was able to land back in my authentic self, and not to say that I don't wobble in and out of that like a human, But when I had that moment of discernment of what was me and how I could act from me, I realized that what I'm here to do is to help creatives like myself, and help you guys work from this energy as well, right? So it was a windy and long journey with the Christmas bell, but it was truly for me one of the most life-changing essences that I've worked with. Definitely not surface level. It really just showed me the depths of who I am and who I desire to be and who I am here to serve, and every little thing that has been getting in the way of that, right? So it was revealing and it was raw, and yeah, just definitely not surface level. But it was the medicine that was aligned for my soul at this time in my life, and it has since opened profound doors for me and my path. Like, it's continuing to unfold, and the creativity is flowing, and the amazing creatives that I am working with and bumping into, and I just feel so aligned and feel so expanded in what I have to offer. The Christmas spell worked its wonders, that's for sure. So I would definitely add a few little notes to that synopsis that I read at the start. Maybe I will do a new little share on that one when I share this episode. I think that would be really fun to see where that would update to, where that would transform and evolve into. So I'd love to hear anyone else's experience with Christmas Bell, if they have journeyed with it in the way that I have. And I just am so grateful to be here and in this realm of work, and really be so grounded and confident in knowing that anytime that we are doing something or not doing something to please another, right, outside of ourselves, or to control another's experience, whether we view it like that or not, rather than purely acting from our own authenticity, from our own essence and alignment, we're only stifling our own potential to experience expansive joy and abundance and evolution and purpose. So this was my experience with the Christmas Bell, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to that one. If this was your first Essence in Focus that you have tuned in for, let me know your thoughts. Again, I just think it's so fun to share all of the different things that can come up when we're working with flower essences. So, and I don't do this every month or every remedy that I work with. I don't depict them all like this, so I'm not a crazy person. I hope that you have received something from this episode, and if you feel called to work with myself, if you are a creative, if you are someone with a vision, or you're just here to make something or be something or do something, and you want to create that for yourself. We're all innately creatives. I definitely don't deny that. We all are creatives. But if you are someone who wants to tap into that aspect of yourself and wants to bring forth, your purpose that's aligned with your soul, and kind of rid yourself of the fears, because I know how crippling they can be. I really, really know that. If you would like to experience the magic that can unfold when you work with flower essences in this way, and with my support and guidance in your creative journey and your life experience, I would love to guide you through that. So please check out my offerings at hekahealing.com.au. We can work one-on-one in flower therapy or one-on-one in flower therapy and mentoring. There is 3 months left of the year, and I have my Beauty Way flower therapy and mentoring packages that are 3-month long packages where we work together intimately. Every month we have a deep session and formulate a remedy for your creative evolution. And from here, you have my support throughout that whole time. A lot of the resources that I have put together, and it's a really beautiful process that offers a lot of transformation and shifts and evolution in a really short amount of time, because that's what the flowers do, right? So I would love to hold you through that if that is something that you are interested in experiencing and traversing. And if you would like to inquire about that and see if it's aligned for you, you can hop on a connection call with me, book that one also on my website. And I'm not sure when my next Essence in Focus episode will be, so stay tuned, but we have some more beautiful guests as well coming up, and I look forward to connecting with you all again next week. So have a beautiful rest of your day, and hope you enjoyed. Please do also leave your feedback or subscribe on the channel you are listening on. And I also have a monthly giveaway which is drawn this week. I think it is. So yes, I'll be drawing that this week. So if you would like to be in the draw for a free Flower Power session, which is just a short 15-minute session with me, short but sweet, and a custom flower remedy from that session, please share or subscribe on the channel you're listening on. Share your feedback on it, leave a review, and if you wish, share it to your socials, and you will be in the draw for that Flower Power session and remedy. So thank you. Okay, that's all from me, folks. Have a beautiful day, and I will chat to you soon.